Hey everybody, thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Obviously, you're watching this because the last update for Redfall has finally released, much to my surprise and the surprise of many other people, because Microsoft and even Arcane themselves stated that they would not be supporting Redfall any further after the previous update from last year. But they finally released Game Update 4, which brings the long-awaited offline mode. So Redfall is a game that is going to be forever preserved for myself and many others to enjoy and play in the future. They've also added a couple of other quality of life features, and they've revamped a lot of features of the game, specifically the neighborhood systems and the vampire nests. So a lot of the side content, they've really done an incredible job, in my opinion, of overhauling a lot of this stuff. So in today's video, we're going to review all of that. Before I do get started jumping into the Bethesda.net blog post about this final update for Redfall, I want to briefly just speak directly to the Arcane Austin devs, who are obviously no longer with the company because it's shut down, but I want to speak directly to you guys, and I just want to say and give all of you a heartfelt thank you for delivering this update to us, because you didn't have to do it, you didn't have to put in this extra effort, and the fact that you guys actually managed to get this out the door says so much about your character and your work ethic and the very apparent passion that you guys had for this game. You know, despite everybody reporting and corroborating that, you know, maybe this wasn't exactly the game that you guys wanted to make originally, but I could still see a lot of love that you guys had put into it. And so I just want to say thank you all for putting out this final update and ensuring that Redfall is a game that fans like myself are going to be able to enjoy for years and years to come. And so thank you guys. I love you all. And again, I wish all of you the best in finding new positions within the industry. I hope that all of you get back on your feet very soon. And with that out of the way, let's talk about everything that's brand new with Redfall's Game Update 4. Okay, so here we have the Bethesda.net post about Redfall's final update. Redfall Game Update 4 available now. Game Update 4 revamps the neighborhood and nest systems while bringing along new features such as offline mode, single-player pausing, DLSS 3, and more. And that's what we're gonna cover right now. So first thing is there's a note from the team at Arcane Austin, who I really do appreciate all of the work you guys have put into this game. I'm sad to see that Redfall is no longer going to be supported, but I'm happy knowing that we at least got this final update that has a ton of really good improvements and changes to the game. So a note from Arcane Austin: we're proud, and you guys should be. We're proud to deliver to you Redfall's Game Update 4. We're thankful for the millions of players who have joined us. From everyone at Arcane Austin, thank you for playing our games and loving our worlds. It's been an honor to deliver these experiences to you. Yeah, I have played all of your games. I've loved all of the worlds you guys have created, and just words really can't begin to express how grateful I am for the games that the Arcane Austin team have delivered to us. Just truly special experiences. And that includes Redfall. Yes, that includes Redfall, because I've said it time and time again, and I'll continue to say it for as long as I live, especially now after this update, that Redfall is definitely a game that you should check out at some point. It's a lot of fun. It's in probably the best state it's ever been in and will ever be, considering that this is the final update. But anyway, so update version 1.451.3.0, and it lists file sizes for the PC versions on Steam, Microsoft Store, and Xbox. A lot of people have pointed this out on Twitter, and the Arcane Austin team have pointed it out. The update version is 1.451.3.0. So anyone like myself who's a immersive sim aficionado, or anyone who is a diehard fan of that subgenre of game, knows that the number 451 carries a very high level of significance within the community. It can be a code that you've entered in a keypad somewhere, like Prey, for example. It could be a code to like a lock safe. It's usually a code to something in these kinds of games, but 451 is a piece of it's one of the most important pieces of the immersive sim lineage, the design lineage that has carried on throughout the years. And this is just an awesome way for Arcane to honor that legacy of immersive sims by giving this the 451 designation. I just love that. So moving on to the first major change that Arcane has introduced here, they've done a neighborhood revamp, introducing community standing. With the release of Game Update 4, unlocking a new safe house, completing safe house missions, rescuing civilians, or killing an underboss will all contribute to a new reputation bar called Community Standing. As you assist the residents of Redfall in freeing their town from the grip of the vampire gods, you'll be able to use your support currency to unlock new rewards from the Safe House skill tree. There are 6 ranks of Community Standing, giving you 39 unique rewards that serve as permanent buffs. As you progress higher through the skill tree, the unlocks become increasingly more impactful. To help you get a better idea of what upgrades await, let's look at a couple of unlocks from each of the 6 ranks of Community Standing. Rank 1. Treat yourself. Cosmetics near your location appear on your map and compass. I'm in. Turrets and tripwires take 50% less time to hack. Rank 2. The rest of the story. Grave locks near your location appear on your map and compass. That's really important for people like me who still, to this day, have not found all of the collectibles in the grave locks. Ammo dump. Human enemies drop more ammo on death. Rank 3. Well grounded. Take 50% less damage from Rook Storm lightning strikes. I'm definitely getting that as soon as I can. Those lightning strikes do a lot of damage. Castle Doctrine. Unlocked safe house defense now includes some friendly turrets. That's interesting. Rank 4. Family heirlooms. Anglers, shrouds, and siphons drop better rewards on death. Probably better than just like the wedding rings that the vampires usually drop, just jewelry and stuff for junk and support currency. Homeopathic remedy. Using a medical supply has a 40% chance to not consume the item. Rank 5, crystal ball. Each psychic residue orb collected has a 40% chance to give you significantly more psychic residue. Last laugh. When destroyed, friendly turrets will electrocute enemies within 20 meters. Does not affect enemies immune to electrocution. Rank 6, high roller. Unrivaled items appear much more frequently in loot. Escape plan. Activate a salvaged bellwether cloak for 10 seconds upon reaching critical health levels. Attacking will deactivate, can only occur once every 10 minutes. All the upgrades from the Community Standing skill tree are meant to provide you with a mixture of quality of life and gameplay benefits. A few of the traits will even help collectors finish out their hunt for cosmetics and grave locks. So overall, it reminds me a lot of the systems that are in place in games like Diablo, and also, interestingly, a game like Dying Light, for example, where they have this, it almost seems like a end game kind of system where you're able to unlock more permanent buffs as you progress through the side content, clearing out neighborhoods and helping to take back Redfall. This is a great change, honestly, and it adds a lot more content to the game, number one. Number two, it really just expands the side content, and it just makes it more meaningful and more impactful to actually engage in the side content, and beyond that, to actually explore more of the open world. I've said time and time again that Redfall's open world setting is really, really cool. I've always really enjoyed this open world that Arcane created because it is a very handcrafted feel. You definitely get the New England East Coast vibes from the open world, but this skill tree has a ton of really interesting looking upgrades, and just based off of these examples they gave, it's going to be really cool to have that stuff available to you as permanent buffs, whether you're playing solo or you're playing co-op. This is just doing a lot to kind of improve the overall gameplay systems and the way that they interact with the world. And yeah, I just think these are great changes. The other major addition they made to the game here are nest revamps. So they've added what are called Elder Nests. Also arriving with Game Update 4 are Elder Nests. These new boss-focused nests will challenge you to destroy dangerously modified special vampires to free Redfall from their influence. Portals to the Elder Nest will appear around Redfall much like their Heart Nest siblings, but these new psychic spaces can be distinguished by their purple glow over the areas where their influence reaches. Once you've accepted the challenge and entered the Elder Nest, your objective is to find the vampire boss buried deep within and destroy them, freeing the heart inside, grabbing your rewards, and escaping. So these are brand new vampire nests that are much higher in difficulty, and plus you have a really interesting boss fight at the end of each of these Elder Nests, which is really cool. So it's a bunch of very modified versions of the special vampires, so the Shroud, the Siphon, the Angler, stuff like that. And the environments and all of the assets here appear to be, at least a couple of them appear to be completely new to the game. They added a lot of new in-game assets and they've remixed a lot of stuff, and these just look like a lot more, they look far more like actual dungeons than the normal vampire nests did, because the normal vampire nests, I enjoy them, but it's also kind of impossible to ignore the fact that they're basically just a straight line from the start all the way to the heart at the end of the nest and grabbing all the loot and escaping. But this sounds really cool. Anyway, reading on. After successfully clearing the Elder Nest, you and your teammates will be granted a temporary buff called a Heart Shard. The duration of the Heart Shard scales to the campaign difficulty, granting a longer buff at each higher difficulty. Here are just a few of the heart shards that could be granted after completing an Elder Nest. Ammo Synthesis. Holstered weapons regenerate ammo and reload when not in use. UV Healing. A player gains health when hit by UV. Light in Darkness. The expanding aura around the nest weakens vampires inside it instead of the usual strengthening effect. That sounds awesome. So heart shards are basically, after you complete these Elder Nest dungeons, you get the temporary buffs that they provide, and it seems like those are just 3 examples. It probably goes even further beyond that, so that's really cool. And again, just further incentivizing players to actually go out of their way to complete these nests and engage with the neighborhood systems, with the whole community standing and whatnot. Arcane just seems to have done a lot more work and put in a lot more effort to make engaging with the side content a lot more meaningful. There's one more major change coming to all nests with this update. Failing to escape a nest during its destabilization phase will now result in you not obtaining the major remnant. Any loot that you pick up will still be yours, but the major remnant is now rewarded after you successfully exit the collapsing nest. Pretty good change there. So you're not losing out on as much of the loot or gear that you would get if you didn't like escape the nest during the time limit, the destabilization phase, as the post says here. And then we're getting to what many people are going to look at as the most important part of this update, which are the quality of life features. So first and foremost, finally Redfall has an offline mode. With the release of Game Update 4, you will be given the option to play Redfall while disconnected from the internet. You will also be able to continue playing if you're disconnected from the internet in the middle of a solo session. When playing in co-op, the host will be dropped into a solo offline session. Obviously, I said this at the very beginning of the video, but this is huge in order to preserve the game, because the game does run on dedicated servers that are going to probably be shut down within the year, would be my guess, sadly. But having this offline mode here is going to enable everybody who's a fan of the game like myself to continue to play it and continue to just enjoy the content that Arcane Austin has crafted for this game. Going along with the offline mode, they've also added single-player pausing. Another new feature we're happy to introduce is single-player pausing. Now, if you need some time to adjust your kit, or you just need to step away for a minute, the world of Redfall will wait with you. So obviously with the game running on dedicated servers, When you were playing solo, you would pause it, and if you're like in the middle of combat, for example, you can still die. Enemies will still shoot at you and try to attack you. So this is a really good change as well. I've seen a lot of people go like, oh, this should have been there at launch, and yes, it should have been there at launch. The offline mode should have been there at launch. At the same time, I'm really happy that it's here now, because it's a great addition. It's a great change. Again, just to kind of make the solo experience a little bit more palatable. Because I think for a lot of players, even myself included, the solo experience has been a little more difficult than just playing strictly co-op with friends. Wrapping up here, this article only covers the largest additions coming to Redfall, but that is not all. New enemy encounters in Redfall Commons. Gonna be curious to kind of see what that looks like. Continued AI improvements, probably making the AI smarter, more aggressive. I'm hoping that that means more improvements to kind of human AI, because I feel like the vampire AI, even from the beginning of the game's life cycle, has always been a lot better than the human AI. So hoping that that means there's more improvements to the cultist and the bellwether AI. Story mode difficulty, which I'm guessing is probably just like super easy mode for people who care more about exploring the world and they don't care too much about engaging in the combat as much. And a new unrivaled weapon has also been added with this update. So just like the previous update to the game, which added the Basilisk, which was a UV-powered sniper rifle, brand new weapon they added to the game, they've also added a brand new unrivaled weapon with this update. And I believe it's like a pistol. It's a special pistol. So gonna be curious to check that out. There will be no full patch notes for this update. Thank you for understanding. And that sucks, because I would have liked to have actually read and more about what specific changes just beyond the ones we talked about are. But it seems like it was probably, this whole article and this whole update was put together rather quickly. I think by now, the Arcane Austin office is officially closed. Like, it's been completely cleared out. Everybody's out of the office now. So it makes sense why there's not any full patch notes for the update from that perspective, because they likely were already on their way out. But yeah, this is the article that they posted about Update 4. All in all, some really interesting changes. My opinion, some really important changes to making the game just feel more fun and more rewarding to play. But anyway, that's that. So now we're going to transition over to some gameplay, and I'm going to show you guys a little bit more of the update. So keep watching and stay tuned. So starting with the community standing system, these are permanent passive buffs that you unlock by engaging with the neighborhood side missions, slaying vampire underbosses, and rescuing civilians. Essentially, any action that aids in taking back Redfall from the vampires will increase your community standing level and unlock more upgrades within the skill tree as you progress from tier 1 to tier 6. You purchase the upgrades themselves with the support currency gathered from collecting junk items and loot scattered around the open world, and this change makes the support currency far more valuable to the player beyond simply purchasing ammo, health kits, lockpicks, or hacking tools. It also makes the fear of death more meaningful when you are slain, as you lose a large chunk of support, which can often set you back on your path to acquiring all of the community standing upgrades. The upgrades themselves are literal game changers, as they can provide some really profound improvements to your gameplay experience. The addition of this skill tree also makes exploring the open world of Redfall far more enjoyable and fluid, improving the overall gameplay experience as a result. I still haven't fully completed the skill tree, so I won't spoil what some of the more impressive upgrades are the further you venture into the higher ranks. But suffice it to say, this is one of the best additions Arcane Austin could have made to Redfall with this update. Next, we have the new and improved vampire nests, which come in two forms. First, we have brand new environments for the standard vampire nests, which adds a large degree of aesthetic variety to these mini dungeons. And and makes the procedural generation of each nest stand out more than it ever has. Also, Arcane Austin have given you the ability to finally stealth kill vampires who are in their blood trance sleep, which goes a long way to improving the overall stealth gameplay of Redfall. Plus, this new animation is just super satisfying. You literally are yanking them out of their slumber before turning them to ash. It's awesome.
Charging.
The second and far more impressive form of vampire nest are the newly introduced elder nests, which are much larger arena-styled environments where you face off against a heavily modified version of one of the many special vampires like the Angler, Siphon, and Shroud. These fights can actually be incredibly difficult, especially on higher difficulties, and the boss vamps actually have brand new attack patterns and movesets that distinguish them greatly from their vanilla counterparts. Once an elder nest has been cleared and you've made your escape with the loot contained within, you'll gain a temporary buff called a heart shard. Heart shards will also come in a variety of forms, some of them subtle and others downright overpowered. The first one I received had an effect that boosted my stake launcher's damage output, while also having the incredibly awesome effect of damaging anyone who is close by to the primary target of a stake launcher shot. This footage here illustrates this far better and more hilariously than I ever could.
Holy shit!
Elder nests also have a higher rarity loot pool that contains a multitude of some of the best weapons you can find in Redfall, including a brand new unrivaled rarity weapon introduced in this update called the Painkiller. Acting similarly to the Ambition pistol from the vanilla game, this weapon will allow you to kill vampires outright without the use of a stake to the heart, but it will also provide you with a healing buff. If you take damage while this weapon is equipped, any damage you return will act as bonus damage, and you'll also be healed for a portion of that bonus damage until you either reload, die, or swap to a different weapon. The Painkiller also has a unique visual design, much like the other unrivaled weapons, and in my opinion is a great addition to the overall weapon selection of Redfall. Some more noteworthy additions to Redfall come in the form of AI improvements for both the vampires and the human enemies. They are now much more aggressive and also more coordinated in their attempts to either flank you or flush you out from hiding. In my experience, the human enemies did seem to receive the majority of the improvements from Arcane Austin tinkering with the enemy AI, as the vampires have always been much more fierce in my mind since launch. In the first open world district of Redfall Commons, there are also some brand new locations and landmarks that you can discover that either contain new enemy encounters or more in-game readables that build upon the lore and world building that Arcane Austin put a lot of effort into. Also, yes, I can confirm playing solo that single-player pausing does indeed work, and so does the offline mode, making it now to where you can enjoy playing Redfall no matter if you have an internet connection or not, and also ensuring that the game, even after the servers are inevitably shut down, will continue to live on. Ultimately, Game Update 4 has done so much heavy lifting to get this game to its most polished state ever, both in technical terms as well as gameplay and the overall interactivity of the world of Redfall. I did experience one hard crash while playing Redfall after Game Update 4 was installed, but beyond that, I have seen virtually no major game-breaking or immersion-breaking bugs or glitches. It's bittersweet and frustrating that Redfall's final update is absolutely the best one it has ever received, and yet we'll never get to see just how much further this game would have improved had Arcane Austin been given both the time and grace to release the DLC characters and any other major additions to the game like new story content. It's heartbreaking watching, but I can at least be happy knowing that we got this highly polished and well-made update to Redfall as a final thank you and farewell from the Arcane Austin team. Once again, to any of the team members who end up watching this video, thank you for all of the hard work you put into your games over these last several years, and I will forever be grateful that I got to experience these games and understand the passion and creativity that went into making them. I will always be ride or die for the Arcane Austin team, and I will support each and every one of you no matter where you go. If you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Redfall's final update, leave a like on the video, comment down below with your own experiences with Redfall's final update, and share this video with other members of the Arcane Outsiders community. Join our official Discord server where you can chat with our awesome community about all things gaming related. Consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell for more Arcane Studios content in the future, and also consider becoming a channel member to not only support me in creating future content, but also to earn some awesome incentives. Thank you all so much once again for watching, and remember that the outsider walks among us. I'll see you all next time.